Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
I laid down in bed and haven't been able to get up.
He's been living in this bed, not for a week, not a month, but 5 years.
And Mom does everything for him.
Even cleans his urinal because he doesn't want to get up and walk to the bathroom.
But if I don't do it, he doesn't do it.
You said this is the end, and then you laid your happy ass down and you haven't gotten up since.
He'll lay there and die.
I know what's wrong with him. What I don't understand is what's wrong with you. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Thank you. Okay. Look at this bed. Looks comfy, clean, maybe good for a quick nap, right? But not for Jess, because he's been living in this bed, not for a week, not a month, but 5, count them, 5 years. Now imagine not getting up to go to work, not getting up for dinner, not even getting up to go to the bathroom. He can walk, he can run, he can do whatever. He's emailed me 14 times. He's had plenty of time to type it out, asking me to help him with his life and really to start a new one. Well, he's come to the right place. Take a look.
I'm laying here in my bed. That's my whole world where I live. It's been 5 years now, and this is where I spend my life. I don't know how to get up anymore. I don't know how to live anymore.
Well, Jess' mother, Sue, says she does everything for her son. Now, when I say everything, I mean everything. She brings him food, cold drinks, she washes his sheets, and even cleans his urinals. I said urinals because he doesn't want to get up and walk to the bathroom. So he has urinals at the bedside. Well, you got to see this. Just take a look.
I've been practically living in my bed for the past 5 years at my mother's house.
My son Jess stays in bed in his room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How you doing, Jess?
I had a fiance that I was madly in love with, and we had a messy breakup. That was the end. I laid down in bed and haven't been able to get up.
He had a job with a very reputable company. He couldn't keep it because he couldn't get out of bed and go to work.
My muscles have atrophied in the past 5 years. I've gained 120 pounds, and it really crushes me. I've only been out of bed about a dozen times in the past 5 years. I got up to come to California because Dr. Phil doesn't make house calls. I've been in LA for the past 48 hours, and I've been in bed for about 42 of those hours. My hygiene is off the charts bad.
Sometimes I've seen him go as many as 6, 7 days without a bath.
Once, maybe twice a week, I get up to go to the restroom and to bathe.
Jess sleeps 8 to 10 hours a day, or he doesn't sleep for days at a time.
I lay in a dark room and smoke my e-cigarette and just think about everything horrible that's ever happened in my life. My room is set up conveniently. I have a mini fridge that I keep stocked with snacks and food. I don't have to get up for anything. I have portable urinals, and I just sit up like this, use the urinal, set it down, and lay back down.
Every day I have to empty the portable urinals. Here we have Jess's urinals, and we usually have an argument about it. I have a routine that I do every day, then I usually don't see him again for hours.
My mom begrudgingly and sometimes spitefully does everything for me. She brings me food, drinks, mops, she does my laundry.
He sends me text messages during the day, like, will you pick me up some drinks on the way home? Can I have pizza for dinner? Taking care of my son is a full-time job. I live in fear that my son is dying before my eyes. Sometimes when I don't hear him or hear his TV on, I'm afraid to open the door because I'm afraid he's going to be dead.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. How about you?
Very much so.
You glad you're here?
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
How you feel?
I'm exhausted. It's been everything I could do to get here.
You would have preferred the house call. Seriously?
Yeah, but, you know, that's asking a little too much.
No, that's asking a lot. How do you feel about being here?
Nervous, afraid that you're gonna make me cry.
Yeah, you're gonna cry.
See? Oh, I knew you were gonna do this to me.
There's gonna be tears of joy because you're getting ready to get out of jail.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
And thank you, Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Listen, what do you want?
I am here because I have exhausted every resource I have. I just can't seem to function. I can't seem to cope. I'm hanging on by the frayed edges of my pitiful rope, and I just can't take it anymore. I'm terrified that I'm gonna die laying in that bed. I love my mom, but our relationship is toxic as it is right now.
Yeah, because you couldn't cripple him anymore if you were hitting him in the knees with a bat.
She's very spiteful and resentful and doesn't like to talk to me at all. We argue.
Yeah, so she didn't come in like a cheerleader to empty your urinals.
When you put it that way, no, she doesn't.
Why would Jess get out of bed? He's got a 50-inch TV, video game console, 20 games, a mini fridge right by his bed with sodas, sports drinks, salad, fruit cups, lunch snacks. Then he's got snacks, fig bars, cakes, crackers, chips. Nightstand, he's got chargers, laptops, urinals top of the dresser, coffee pot next to the bed, 2 cats that come by every day. Mom brings him breakfast, dinner, buys him snacks, cleans the bedroom, empties the urinals, runs his bath water, takes him to doctor's appointments, feeds the cats, does his laundry, dusts the rooms, and mops the floors.
Yes.
Hell, I want to go to bed.
I was thinking the same thing.
You, really, wouldn't you like that?
Hey.
If you had somebody to do all that for you?
Well, for
do you
a little while.
think that's reasonable and fair?
No, sir, I don't. I just have completely, over the past 5 years, lost my ability to function.
Or you've chosen not to function?
For about the first year, I wondered that, and then it just became inability.
Well, I kind of made a profile of your life to look at based on your view. And here's what jumped out at me. You said you had a messy breakup. And when you had that breakup, you said, and I quote, "It's the end." We believe ourselves when we tell ourselves things, right? We believe what we tell ourselves. You didn't say, oh, rough patch. You didn't say, this is going to be hard. You said, this is the end.
Yes, sir.
And then you laid your happy ass down and you haven't gotten up since.
No, sir, I haven't.
Right?
I felt unable to.
Because you believe what you said. Then you said I hadn't been able to get up. You didn't say I don't get up. You said I hadn't been able to get up, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you said, Mom begrudgingly, spitefully does everything for me.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, food, drinks, laundry, pizza, mops. She doesn't bring you maps, she brings you mops. She doesn't bring you maps because you ain't going a damn place. You're staying in bed. Maybe if she brought you maps, we'd be better off. Listen, I know what's wrong with him. I figured that out the first 10 minutes I was studying this case. What I don't understand is what's wrong with you.
That's my only child, my only son, and I can't turn my back on him.
So why are you abusing him this way?
I don't mean to be. He'll lay there and die. He needs help.
I want your help desperately, Dr. Phil.
We're going to find out. Coming up, Jess says his mother is controlling and actually does not want him to get out of bed. He says she wants him to stay there. She wants to control him and know where he is so she can feel safe with him right there, that she's actually doing all this for her, not for him. Is that true? Well, we'll find out after the break.
She treats me like I am 12 years old. I believe that she'd be a lot happier if I never got out of bed and left that house.
One time he sent me a text message and told me that he was going to have me arrested for Munchausen syndrome.
My parents getting divorced when I was 3 years old was the beginning of my mental issues. After the divorce, my mom dated a lot of men, and these men were mostly abusive. At the age of 8, I started drinking beer and smoking cigarettes. At age 14, I started going wild partying. That was the beginning of my party life.
Once he got into his teenage years, he started getting into trouble. I wasn't really worried because I was kind of a little wild as a teenager too.
She was living her life. I was on my own to do whatever I wanted to do.
Well, Jess says despite a chaotic upbringing, he was able to achieve a 4.0 in college, have a successful life with a nice home, had a pool, good job. But it all ended 5 years ago after a bad breakup. He says he lost all coping skills and thinks his mother really might like it that way.
My mother likes to be controlling because she's a control freak. She treats me like I am 12 years old.
I always taught him right from wrong. I always kept a roof over our head. I always did everything I could for him. One time he sent me a text message and told me that he was going to have me arrested for Munchausen syndrome. When I looked it up, I was devastated. I've never done anything to him but want him to be better.
Once in a blue moon, I will get up, pull myself out of bed just to go sit on the patio or to see my cats. And she will say, "Where do you think you're going?" Like I'm going to a liquor store or something in my underwear.
Hey, Jess, where are you going?
I'm just going to the porch to look for my cats. They don't sell liquor out there. What are you worried about? I believe that she'd be a lot happier if I never got out of bed and left that house.
If Jess really believes that I want him to be in my house and I want to take care of him, he is absolutely crazy.
Do you recognize that what you're doing is not working?
Yes, sir, but the parts that they're not showing is the times that I did throw him out, the times that he almost did kill himself.
Well, we got a problem, Mom. Because I just asked you if you realize what you're doing is not working, and you said yes. When people say but, they really mean forget everything I just said, I'm now going to tell you what I really think. So you don't really believe what you're doing is wrong. You just told me what you said but and told me what you really think. What you really think is what you're doing is working. You think you're keeping him alive. You think you're the one thing that is his lifeline, and without you, he's gone.
He can't function in a normal situation. He doesn't think like you. He doesn't think like me.
Well, I need to make a note because I was confused. I thought you were here looking for some new answers, and you're actually here to defend what you've been doing.
Well, no, I just want you to understand the whole story.
You don't think I've prepared for today?
You're gonna, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you have. You're a professional. I'm here for your help, but I just want I just want you to understand how hard I have tried to prepare him.
You're sure that I've done my homework?
Yes.
Because I'm a professional.
Yes, you are.
But you want to tell me
Just what I've been doing.
Yeah, because I don't know, because I haven't done my homework. I didn't read everything that you've told us. I haven't listened to the interviews. I haven't studied the tapes from both of you. Did you withhold information from us?
I can't remember. I've talked to so many people so many times, I can't remember.
And I've read every word you said to everybody you talked to.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm telling you right now, I would not be here if I wasn't reaching out for help for my son and myself.
But you want to waste time defending what you've been doing, which isn't working, instead of spending time with me telling you what you need to do instead of what you've been doing. That's what we're spending our time on.
I'm sorry.
What you're doing isn't working, right?
Correct.
What you're doing isn't working, right?
No, sir, it's not at all.
It needs to change.
very badly.
I'm going to talk about what they need to do next, very specifically. This is not a mystery to me. We'll be right back. You got a piece of good news?
Yes.
You've mopped your last floor in his room. You've brought him his last pizza. You've emptied your last urinal. Stop right now. Okay, don't forget to check out my Fill in the Blanks podcast, where I've just started a new series called Relationship Reality Check. Now, here's a question. How much fun are you to live with? Think about it. We are all a life manager, and we have one client. That's us. How you doing on managing your life? Because if you've managed yourself into misery, boredom, bankruptcy, bad health, if it was somebody else, you'd fire their ass. But you can't fire yourself, so that means you just got to do a better job. Look, I believe in the principle of reciprocity. You get what you give from this world. And we all have a core consciousness where we really understand what we believe. And I'm going to talk about what I call some drop-dead deal breakers in relationships. There are some times you're ready to walk away. We're going to talk about what those things are. So this is a brand new series that comes out every Tuesday. It's free. It's available on Apple Podcast. Has everyone been listening to mine? Raise your hand if you're not. What the hell? All right, who's got my podcast loaded? You have it?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're safe. How about you?
I told her she was in
All right,
trouble.
do you know how to do it?
Yes.
Where's your little microphone? Let me tell you how this works. On your phone or your iPad, click on this little purple icon. You see it on the screen? This is the free podcast app that comes with your phone. All right, click on it, and then click on the magnifying glass. Okay, type in fill in the blanks. It's P-H-I-L in the blanks. And then click search. See the picture? And then you hit the subscribe button. Then every time one drops, it just sends you a little message and says, a new one is out. Okay, let's try it again. All right, go back and push on the little magnifying glass and type in, I've got a secret. You see the little icon that comes up with Robin's picture? And then click subscribe on that. Now you're listening to the cutest couple in America. Okay? You can also find these on Stitcher, Castbox, Spotify, and your favorite podcast app. And you can get more information about all of the podcasts on drphilpodcast.com. All right, back to the show.
Well, I've tried tough love with my son over the years. I threw him out and tried to make him go have a life.
My mom didn't kick me out. I left my friend's house because they got evicted.
He lived on the streets like a bum. He drank, did drugs, got beaten up. And if I don't do anything, he comes to my house and he cries and sleeps on the porch.
I was homeless. I had nowhere else to go, and I took an air mattress and laid in an old trailer out in the woods till my mom gave in.
Just as my son, I love him. He tears at my heart to the point where I can't take it anymore, and I let him back in.
So you got a piece of good news?
Yes.
You've emptied your last urinal, if you listen to me. You've
listen.
mopped your last floor in his room. You've brought him his last pizza. That needs to end right now. Zip, zero, stop right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay? I want to introduce you to Coach Mike Baer. He's a life coach. He's the CEO of Cast Centers, and he focuses on helping his clients break free of destructive patterns that aren't yielding the results that they want. Mike, come on up, if you will. Welcome, Coach Mike Baer. Mike is a New York Times best-selling author. His book is called Best Self, Be You Only Better. Part of what has to happen is he's got to behave his way to success, correct?
He just definitely needs to behave his way to success. I mean, he needs a life reboot in every aspect of his life. Because right now there is not much of a life.
You're talking about just simple things day to day, right?
Simple things. I would have someone come to your house, take you for a walk every day, have a coach checking in with you, setting some goals, setting boundaries with your mom. I mean, you've admitted this is not where you want to be in your life.
Do you want to get out of bed?
I do, absolutely. I just don't know how anymore.
This is you before you went to bed. Let me tell you what I think needs to happen. You want to know what I think needs to happen?
Absolutely.
I want to introduce you to Dr. Kaligi right here. This is Dr. Kaligi, and this lovely lady next to him is also Dr. Kaligi.
Hi.
They're not twins. They're father and daughter. Sure. And Dr. Farah Kaligi on the right is the clinical director of Creative Care, which is a dual diagnosis treatment center here in Calabasas. And I think the first thing that needs to happen is we need to get a baseline on you. We need to get you off of all medications, which require medical supervision to do that. But it would not surprise me if you don't need any medications. I don't know, but this is something that you guys can detox him, whether they're prescription meds or otherwise. You can take him back to baseline, do some evaluations physiologically, psychologically, and figure out exactly where he is, correct?
Like Dr. Phil said, the baseline evaluation to see what you're on, what for, and see if it's working. Clearly it's not, because you're basically being bedridden for 5 years.
And while he's gone, we need to do some work with you. And I am going to arrange a therapist for you. And I'm going to do it through Doctor On Demand. And Doctor On Demand is a company that my son Jay started, and I'm involved in it, where you can actually have a regular scheduled therapist that you can see from the comfort of your own home. Because there's going to be a big void in your life when you stop waiting on him 24/7. And you're going to love where this is headed.
Oh, I can't even tell you how much I'm...
Okay? All right. And look, if you at home want your own Doctor On Demand, just go to Google Play Store or iTunes App Store, and you can download the Doctor On Demand app, and you can see medical doctors, you can see therapists or whatever. Coming up, we're going to meet another mother who says she's brokenhearted, embarrassed, and scared to death for her 31-year-old son. She'll tell us why when we come back.
Robert's been in and out of prison.
I've always been a problem child.
Robert was suspended 22 times.
I wanted to be the badass.
He's already been arrested for 3 felonies. If he gets in trouble again, he will get 25 to life.
We're getting ready to talk to Robert. Now, he's 31 years old, and he has not seen his mother, Lynn, in 5 years until a day ago when she dropped off a toothbrush. She says he has spent most of the last decade in prison for stupid things like stealing cigarettes and throwing eggs at a car. Now, she's worried if he gets in trouble again, he's looking at 25 years in prison because of the third strike rule. Take a look.
My son Robert is very impulsive. Even as a kid, he was very mean-spirited. Robert was like a Tasmanian devil. He was always throwing things and kicking things. He's been arrested several times and been in and out of jail and prison.
I've always been a problem child. I feel like the outcast. I'm the bad apple.
When Robert was 3 years old, he was kicked out of daycare. He was putting children's shoes in the toilets. He was tearing heads off the dolls. Throughout grade school and high school, Robert was suspended 22 times.
I didn't really have any care for people's feelings or their property. I wanted to be the badass. I wanted to be different. Once I graduated, I joined the military to make my mom and dad proud.
His dad and I were really very proud of him for probably the first time ever.
I became a party animal. I had charges for wrongful use of cocaine, drunk on duty, and disobey a commissioned officer.
8 months later, he was kicked out of the Army for drug use and for going AWOL. We brought him back home with us. Within a few weeks, we noticed that he had stolen my husband's wedding band, my diamond earrings, and my tennis bracelet. We kicked him out because we couldn't trust him, and he was doing drugs.
I've been arrested 7 times and gone to prison 3 times.
The first time he was arrested, he robbed a guy at knife point.
I would have never used the knife. The whole point was just to scare him.
He got arrested again for burglarizing a cottage.
I got 4 years in prison for it.
8 months later, he violated parole again by getting a DWI. He went back to prison again for a year. He's already been arrested for 3 felonies. My understanding is if he gets in trouble again, he will get 25 to life.
Well, you're really concerned he's going to go to prison.
Again.
And this time for a long stretch. Are you a criminal?
Yes.
I mean, is that who you have become? I mean, are you just a criminal?
I don't like to believe so. All 7 of my arrests, I was intoxicated. I've never been arrested sober. I've never broken the law sober.
How'd you hurt your hand?
I got drunk and I had an argument over the phone, and I punched the windows at my hotel.
When did this happen?
Last night.
Oh, so you punched the windows at our hotel, where we put you.
I did.
So you got drunk while you were out here to get help from me.
I was scared to death we wouldn't even make it here today.
You're on parole, and so you're not allowed to leave the state, but your parole officer made an exception so you could come here today.
That's correct.
And you came out here and got drunk in the hotel, punched out the windows. I'm guessing the hotel probably kicked you out.
They did.
I wanted to control this interaction since you hadn't seen each other for 5 years because I didn't want things to trigger. And so we asked you not to interact with him until you were here, but you ignored our request to do so and went to see him.
I had brought a toothbrush and toothpaste for him in swimming trunks. We decided that I would just come there just to drop the items off to him. And that was it. I hadn't seen him since.
So you completely disregarded our request and did what you wanted to do. Because they've got toothbrushes at the hotel where he's staying. They've got swimming trunks at the hotel where he's staying. They've also got a front desk where you can drop those items off and not interact with him. So you just completely disregarded what we requested you to do.
I'm sorry.
You're pretty lucky they called us instead of the police.
Yeah.
Because that's destruction of property.
Criminal mischief again.
Coming up, Lynn says she blames herself for how Robert turned out. What could she have done differently? We'll talk about that when we come back.
Last summer, I was still in prison, and my sister had passed. I hold a little resentment that they were here for that and didn't think to see me. That really did bother me and piss me off.
We were so busy trying to make the arrangements for the funeral. I was unable to go to visit Robert in prison, and my husband had forgotten his diabetes medication.
I was told the neighbor's lawn that they take care of was getting long and they had to get back to maintain it. There's ways to obtain insulin in other states when you travel if you need to.
Robert spent most of his 20s incarcerated. He admits he did what he calls stupid things in the past, but he wants his mother to know that he's really not a bad guy and that he has changed. But Lynn says Robert has been really just a Tasmanian devil since day one.
When he was really young, I took him to pediatricians, allergists, neurologists, anybody I could to try to find help. The pediatrician had told me he was very healthy. They didn't see anything physically wrong with him. They told me, ma'am, babies cry. Get used to it. At 2 years of age, the neurologist placed him on Ritalin.
I remember taking the little yellow pills, 3 pills 3 times a day.
I did not like him being placed on Ritalin, but I felt like I had no choice.
She had me at Adderall, Metadate, Concerta.
When they put him on Ritalin, it did help a little. It wasn't a cure-all, but it took the edge off. When he was 16, he was having a pretty good year. I thought he had outgrown the hyperactivity. We took him off the medication. Things went bad from then on.
If you look at the records from 2 to 16, I was in trouble the whole time. So did I really get bad again? I think I was bad the whole time, and I don't think the pills were ever working to begin with.
You be the doctor for a minute. What do you think's going on with you? Why do you think you continue to lose control emotionally, continue to be susceptible to peer pressure, continue to make bad choices and wind up in prison?
I still feel, I'm gaining slight control over the fact of gaining people's acceptance. However, I like to drink alcohol, and when I do, I make terrible decisions.
Why do you think you're abusing alcohol?
I wish I had the answer for that. When I do drink, I feel good. I feel happy. I feel confident. All the things that I don't feel when I'm sober most of the time.
How do you feel when you don't?
When I don't drink?
Yeah, when you're not high, how do you feel?
Lonely, depressed, anxious, outcast. So I drown myself with the alcohol to not feel that.
Do you think you deserve to be happy?
Like to think so. I probably don't, but I'd like to be. I'd like to think that I could be. And I could just be a normal person and be happy.
Well, I have got a really pivotal question for you in your life. I'm going to ask it right after the break. So why are you here?
I feel like a glutton for punishment sometimes, but I just can't give up. I just keep trying. I want him to be all right. I just want him to be happy and healthy and stop breaking the law. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I said I had a pivotal question for you. If you could write the script for the rest of your life as it's headed right now, what do you think's going to happen? What's in your future? Just nothing changes. You just leave here today and just go on the same trajectory you're on right now. What's that script look like?
I'll probably be dead in 3 years.
From what?
Who knows? I'll probably get drunk and not see it coming.
That okay with you?
No, it's not okay with me. It's not what I want for myself. I don't want my parents to continuously be disappointed. I want to do right. I want people to be proud of me. I want them to be happy. I want to feel good about myself. I just don't know how.
You don't want the world, you just want some peace.
That's correct.
You know what I believe? I believe that in everybody's life, there are critical moments. There are critical moments where you come to a precipice. You come to certain threshold moments where you can make a life decision, where you can make a choice, where all things wrong can be made right. And those may happen 3 or 4 times by your age. And I believe today can be one of those times in your life. I think there are 4 stages of readiness. And stage 1 is when you make a change because it's been ordered by the court. Stage 2 is when you make a change because you do it to escape criticism. And stage 3, you know you need to do it. You don't feel it, but you just know it. And stage 4 is when you are mentally, emotionally, self-motivated to change. It's when you look in the mirror and say, I am so sick and tired of my crap. I'm not going to take this from myself another second, of another minute, of another hour, of another day. I don't care how scary it is on the other side. I'm not taking this from myself anymore. I choose different. I choose different. And you can make that choice today. You deserve to have some help. You deserve to have some help. I think you need a dual diagnosis treatment program where somebody really sits down and customizes a treatment program for you and says, let's figure out who this young man is. Let's figure out how he got where he is. And I'm going to ask you guys to do it. Will you step up and do it for this man?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've been drinking to deal with your anxiety, depression, self-worth, self-esteem. That needs to go. We need to figure out if you need any medication for impulse control and deal with the anxiety and depression and really begin to raise your self-esteem and know exactly what's going to make a difference for you.
This is a day that you can change the rest of your life if you're willing to lean into it, and that's what I'm asking you to do.
I'm 100% willing.
Fair enough?
Thank God. Thank you.
Okay, we're out of time. There's one more thing that I want to say to you. Sitting to your immediate right, look to your right. That's Robert Reams. Robert Reams is a personal and group trainer. He's a certified nutritionist. And I've asked him to come here today because while you're doing what you're doing, you need somebody to teach you how to take care of yourself physically. You need somebody to get you in shape and get you to break a sweat, in addition to what these good folks are doing with you, in addition to the coach that Mike Baer is bringing you. It takes a village, and we're going to surround you. Robert, you can do this with him, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You want to do it?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Thank you.
You ready to work?
Yes. Well, I think they need to help me first to get me where I can work.
Well, you can work.
Okay.
Trust me.
And people don't have to be an athlete to exercise and get in shape, right, Robert?
No, they do not. They just have to have you just want to have the drive and the opportunity, and you're in a good spot.
I want to thank all of my guests today, especially Dr. Scalighi. Thank the both of you for being here. And I really want to thank Creative Care. Also, a special thanks to personal trainer Robert Reams. He is good. I know he's good because he's my personal trainer. And also, Coach Mike Baer, author of Best Self, Be You Only Better. And if you visit CoachMikeBaer.com, you can receive a free personal assessment that will tell you just how ready you are right now to make the changes you want to see in your life. So that's CoachMikeBaer.com. And before we go, I'd like to read the comments you leave for me on my social media. Here's a fun one. Aaliyah commented on my Instagram post, "Phil, will you be my homecoming date?" I didn't know we were on a first name basis. And do you know how old I am? But that's really a question for Robin. I don't know, Robin. No, she doesn't want me to be your homecoming date. Well, there you go. Thanks for the invite. I'm sure you will have options. Who knows? I may share your comment next. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you next time.
didn't hear ya. I thought that I could fly, but woke up on the asphalt. I swear there was the last time. I've always been naive. Call it.
You know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Every day and night, that's right. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Ooh, you know we gon' get it. Every day and night.
You surround